Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Charlotte Tilbury recently launched her 2023 holiday collection, and today we're gonna be talking about brand new Beautyverse eyeshadow palette. That is what I am wearing on my eyes, and frankly it took me way more time than I thought it will, but this is the result. This is how everything looks like. Hopefully tomorrow I'll film another video, another different look for you. But I tried to incorporate as much as eyeshadows as I could. By the way, she also came out with two new cheek duos, and that is Blush and Glow Duo. In this palette we have new format and a new eyeshadow formula. This one retails for $75, which I know it is a lot. A lot of you compare this one to Huda Beauty. I think it was Obsessions, and when I look at the formulation, I cannot compare that one to the Huda's. It's totally different, especially now when we go through the swatches. You can even see on the swatches how formula is different. And guys, before we continue to swatches, when we look at the packaging, me personally, I would give it 11 out of 10 for being such a beautiful packaging. Like so many details, like even on the packaging you can see how it shifts. It is this like multi-chromatic shifting that it has. It is so beautiful. This palette has been made in Italy and has 24 months shelf life with 9 grams of eyeshadow product. Quick overview of this palette. So the first row is having 3 matte shades. Now when you swatch them, first, what I thought, if I'm not looking at a description, if I am not knowing these are mattes, I would say the way they feel, these are creams, because they're so creamy, and not just the way they feel, but also I would say now the way they blend as well. This first row, it leans more towards cream to powder like Natasha Denona has, but her texture again is different when it's applied, way different I would say. And then this shade right here being Cosmic Pink, it's also what it's called Future Matte. But when it's applied and when it's swatched, it's different than these three. And apparently it is the same, under the same formula I would say, but it is not. So these 4 shades, first row and this one, are called Future Mattes. Then we have 4 Crystal Glows, and we have 1 Party Topper, which is Beautyverse, and I'm wearing the one in my inner corner, and this one has the most amount of, I would say, glitters. I thought because it is a topper, it will be way more transparent, because when you swatch it, it is, but when you apply it on your eyes, it is much more stronger than just when it has been swatched. Now, when it comes to swatches, let's swatch all 9 shades. So the first row is Future Matte, and the first shade is Virtual Taupe. Then we have Supernova Suede, Space Chocolate. The first one and the second one, I would say, are same depth. The third one is deeper, but the undertones are different. The first one being so cool, more cool tone than any other shade in here, I would say. Then the second one is kind of a neutral, and then the last one being warm toned shade. Then we have Cosmic Pink. This one, when I swatch this shade, she is like a true matte, and it's not performing, and it's not the same as the first row. So I'm kind of confused why is this one as well put as a Future Matte when the formula feels different. Then we have Cyber Silver, which is Crystal Glow formula, and this one is beautiful, like mixture between silver and baby blue shade. It is beautiful. First of all, I thought it's more blue than a silver, but it is some kind of a mixture in between. Then we have 1 topper in this palette, and that is called Beautyverse, and this one is beautiful. I would definitely, I would love to do something else with this shade because it is looking so stunning, even though I applied so little. I love it. Then we have shade Planet Pink, Digital Lilac, and Golden Galaxy. So the Golden Galaxy and Cosmic Pink are the only shades that I haven't used today. Oh, and the Supernova Suede as well. So these 3 are Crystal Glow formula as well. But without any further ado, let's jump into this tutorial so that you can see how I achieved this makeup look, and I will be back with you with my final thoughts again. First of all, you guys, excuse my hair today. I know it's looking crazy, but hopefully it will look beautiful later because I have an idea for it. Anyways, let's start with this gorgeous beauty. So I spent quite a while time now just trying to figure what am I going to do. So these eyeshadows, first row of the eyeshadows, it is so creamy, and I would compare this to Natasha's cream to powder formula when it comes to feeling of it. But when I just quickly tried to put it on the eyes, I don't know if it was base or whatever, it was just so sheer. Hopefully it will perform better now. You can totally skip this step, but this is what I usually do because especially for today, I do want to emphasize a little bit this palette, because these shades, they don't feel deep enough. They are more like literally for the everyday basis, you know. So I'm just to add some dimension, mimic the different shade of a eyeliner. That's what I'm going to start with, and this is Danessa Myricks Groundwork. Well, what do I keep on saying? I wanted to say Groundwork 4 palette because of the Lightwork 4, which was the last one. Groundwork palette. Here we go. My base is on. I already have my eyebrows. I will start by outlining my eye, and actually I'm gonna start with my lower lash line. So this is like a really, it can be a simple step, you know. So you just think of this as you are applying your liner or your pencil actually, and this is where you're gonna get, and for that you're gonna need a specific brush. This one is really kind of a pointy brush. As you can see, this is from NYX Cosmetics. I don't have the number on it. Just going to mark more or less where how this liner should look like, because I do want to kind of prolong where my eye, and this is, it's not the deepest, but it's pretty medium deep warm brown shade. And also going to use my brush, blending brush, just to blend this. You can even stop here. I'm going to add a little bit more depth than this, but you can stop here. My opinion right now, and take note, this is just first impressions, because of the formula that it is, I think this will be really suitable for the beginners because it is so sheer and light to blend. It is not like a Pat McGrath, for example, pigment that grabs really harsh on the skin with her deeper mattes. And yeah, for the first look that I've done now with Sunlit Seduction palette, I didn't even use this technique right here. I mimicked this with the eyeshadows, which today I can't do because, like I said, they are too sheer, which for me, it's not something that I prefer. But again, if this is for the kind of a wider audience, not a necessarily creative people, then I can understand that. I just want to point out that Virtual Taupe and Supernova Suede are in a depth, they are the same, the undertone is different. This one is really cool, this one is like more medium neutral shade, and then this one is warm, but it's the deepest shade overall in the whole palette. So I'm going to skip the middle one, and I will play with these two shades, being Space Chocolate and Virtual Taupe. And first I'm going to take Space Chocolate. All of these three are called Future Matte. In a way, I'm still confused. The reason for that is because, again, they really feel and look like that they are more cream than powder, but we'll see what is going to happen once that I apply that shade. Again, they do feel really sheer to me, so now I grab quite a bit of a color. And the reason why this one is going to look like this now is because I did apply, what is this? I did apply my base underneath, going in with the same shade on my lower lash line. So basically wherever I put my base, and this helps, I know it is an additional step, but it helps now to it guidelines everything else that I'm doing, so it's easier. Making sure to really pack that eyeshadow, and I can't do a think that you truly have to pack this type of a product even a couple of times before we can reach full opacity of the product. Now I just realized as I was testing the eyeshadow palette, this is like a sketch that I'm doing, just trying to figure what I'm gonna do. I'm having glitters all over the place. Taking clean blending brush and going in with virtual taupe. Can you see this in a pan? Like kind of a being digged inside the product. That's what reminds me of what Natasha Denona Cream to Powders shade, what I do. Where this one, Cosmic Pink, it's different from these mattes. Like it truly feels like a just basic matte color, you know. Took the excess off my brush and I'm gonna go in my crease with this one. Again, using just tiny bit of the Harvest as my, I'll say, guideline for what I wanna do. Again, you can skip this, you can go with the next shade that I'm going to show you later. So something like this, just to mark where my crease is going to begin. And now once I'm done this, I can go back into the Space, what is it? Space Chocolate. Makes me hungry. And it doesn't matter if it's not looking perfect right here, because we're not going with the matte and it's not going to be a problem just to make the line as you want. Now I'm going in with the first shade, and on top of this one I'm going to connect this shade. This is going to tone down this previous shade that is pretty warm for what I want today, but again I'm just using this palette, so in that way I am kind of limited. And now just work on the edges. Let's continue. Once I created my outline for the eye and sort of put off a base, now just for the testing purposes I'm gonna go in with the NYX glitter primer. This is my favorite primer for applying honestly any sparkling, being multi-chrome or whatever else shifting glittery product. And for that I'm gonna use a flat brush, and what is really important, it is that you have to spread this base equally. That's really important. So yeah, this is my go-to for those type of the products. And you can apply it with a finger, or because I'm going to layer so many of them, I'm gonna use my brush, flat brush of course. This is not a regular flat brush, but you get the point. I will not start from the beginning. I do want to leave some space for the other shades, so this is basically where I start, and I'm gonna go higher, not too high. Look how pigmented this is. This is really pigmented. But I'm going to blend this in with the other shades. Now, I know this is pigmented even without this base, but just again, because of the testing purposes, what I do love to do is just to give each palette as much as I can when it comes to first impressions. I just want to use like 100% that I can, you know. I can't just take 2 or 3 shades, apply it on my lid and just call it a day. I don't think that's a fair representation of any product. I know we still, like, the time will tell, but for now, that is it. I'm gonna go in with this shade. So the transition between Cyber Silver, Digital Lilac, and then Golden Galaxy, that is amazing. Like that transition is so beautiful. So the next is this Digital Lilac, and this one feels like it's almost a, not almost, I think this one shifts, so basically like a duochrome. And I will connect this one to the previous one. I don't get why on this eye, like I apply the same, like the structure of my skin is being much more emphasized. Yeah, I don't know. Now I'm gonna go with this shade, what it's called, Crystal Glow. This shade right here, and this one will go really, really nicely towards what we have already done here. And And when I'm applying this one, I'm also blending it towards previous color, and see how we have blend now. But I do have glitters all over, so just be prepared that you're gonna have a lot of glitters if you're working with them. Yeah. Now with the same shade, I'm going to blend this like so. And what I realized that it looks really beautiful, it's this shade right here. Now this is the shade that is different than any other in this palette, and this is a topper. And I will apply this one right in my inner corner. First, when I saw this online, I thought maybe I can compare this to Makeup by Mario toppers that were in ethereal eyes, but that's not the case because this one is way stronger while applied. Now when you swatch it, you would think like it is so sheer in opacity, but when you apply it on your eyes, yeah, I love how it looks. Like it gets more, I love this one. Like it has more opacity than you would think. Okay, let's finish this. Just gonna go a little bit higher just to open up my eye. And I'm gonna go in with a small brush and use this darkest shade because I do want to... It feels like it over blended. I don't know how to explain that. Like when you're using these eyeshadows, it's like they kind of get lost in the blending when it comes to opacity. And I will also apply it a little bit here. Yeah, I definitely need to go back with these shades. I'm going to apply the shade right here as my... I'll smudge this as kind of a liner. And I'm also going with my Inglot M-Seal Gel Eyeliner in number 77. In my waterline, but upper waterline, and this already looks better just because all of these shimmers, like the color is so, but I am having shimmer everywhere, you guys. It's crazy. Now I'm applying some Pat McGrath primer before I move on to what I'm gonna do now. Lower lash line, repeating the darkest shade again where it was, and I'm going in with the first shade right here underneath the previous one, and also I will stretch that shade right here. And this one works really nicely just because this is such a neutral shade, so this is beautiful even for a contour, I would say. Now I'm gonna go in first with the shade Beautyverse, which is topper. Prepare to have glitter everywhere. And I'm going back to all of these shades. So basically I'm repeating what I'm already having on my eyes, which this looks beautiful. I'm thinking, should I go with the the shade that I haven't used? It is beautiful. So pigmented. But yeah, basically just repeating. Like this is really fast, just repeating what I have already done when it comes to color story. Now for my liner, I'm gonna go in Danessa Myricks Harvest Pomade and will apply that on the edge. Also, I will use the one in my inner corner. Now I'm thinking I wanted to wear my contact lenses, but you know what? Since I'm having so many glitters right now around my eyes, I'm not even sure. I will curl my lashes, apply some mascara, and also apply, of course, some false eyelashes. So I will be applying eyelashes in style 421. These are naked lashes from Ardell. I will finish off the rest of my face and I will be right back. Now, after trying this palette, I would say all day, it took me really long time to create this look. I don't know if this looks complicated or super, like something that is much more easier looking on a camera. But for me, it took me a while to figure the configuration of the colors and the shape that I'm going to do today. That wasn't easy. The reason for that is the way these blends. So I would say that this palette, I'm thinking if you are a beginner, would love this because they kind of, it's easier to work with them and they kind of overblend, if that makes sense. So the more you blend the eyeshadow, it's not, for example, like Pat McGrath or Natasha Denona, like these are much more forgiving, but the payoff of the color is going to be really subtle. Like especially the first row, no matter how much I apply, I feel like I'm missing the pigment. Some of you will love that, especially on a daily basis. That is not my personal preference, and that is something that I don't like when it comes to applying eyeshadows. When it comes to these shimmers, and some of them are having glitters in it, I don't know how much you would love that. So the color story here with the shimmers applies so beautifully one next to each other. You can basically not go wrong by applying them like that in this row that I've done, because the color story is been thought through. But one thing I'll say, they are not super flattering on my skin, at least. Like they do emphasize the structure of my skin, which is something that again I am not a big fan of. This topper, however, it is so stunning, and I'm thinking to do some like a halo eyes or something different with this, just to showcase this palette once again way differently than today. The formula definitely has quality to it, but the thing is, it is not my favorite. I do love pigment, I do love opacity. I don't like when I have to go 10 or 15 times back and forth blending something. And in that sense, this formulation reminded me a little bit of a Urban Decay, since I was using their newest palette just recently, and that is something that reminded me of. But I thought like it is going to be a little bit more stronger in a pigment anyway, which is not the case with this palette. And that's why I had to go with the groundwork to emphasize a little bit the edges. With some eyeshadows you don't have to do that, but this is palette for the, I would say, wider audience, not for somebody that is necessarily a makeup artist, you know, or somebody that likes to play with the color. Like even though these shimmers, again, they are so pigmented and you can get a lot with them. When it comes to this matte, I would switch this matte with something else and then play with this color. That's my personal preference. But if you want something subtle and just having something with this color story and just apply a little bit of shimmer, that would be great for you. It is expensive. A lot of you actually said that it reminds you of Huda Beauty palettes. I do have a couple of them. I don't know which palettes actually you meant. I was thinking Obsession palettes. And when you compare them, for example, like you can see how different they are if these are the Obsessions that you were talking about. Like you can see how size is different, and then a little bit bigger one, but I think the product is the same in here. When it comes to size of a product, yeah, it is way bigger than Huda's for sure. And the packaging, again, wow, 11 out of 10. Oh yeah, you can see how smaller this one are. Look, so this is color look, and the formulation, I cannot compare this to Huda Beauty. Like Huda Beauty is, I would say, different world when it comes to eyeshadows, not necessarily in a bad way. Even though with her last palettes, some of the palettes, yeah, let's just put it this way, I wasn't excited. I was when I saw the color story and the idea, but application and everything wasn't something that was like, oh my god, like I need to have this. I don't know if there's anything else I wanted to say. I will give this palette another shot and I will let you know as I try it more. My personal preference is something that is more pigmented, and that's what I would say. I don't like this sheer of application. If I am doing a really natural look, then yes, that would be nice. And this cooler, lighter brown is perfect neutral color, especially if you are doing like contour to connect with your nose. Like I said, that is so beautiful color to do that. Wanted to mention that today I am wearing my #1 when it comes to under eye powders, and this is her Airbrush Flawless Finish. And hey, I'm dark, I'm medium light now, but I can wear number 1 underneath my eye. That's crazy how versatile these are. And then I'm having her new Pillow Talk Matte Beauty Blush Wand, and that is what I am wearing as well. And now when I saw reviews of the blushes that came within this collection, honestly, in a way, I was relieved that I didn't buy them. Like, reviews are mixed. For the most part, not good so far, but when it comes to price, they are way cheaper than the other ones. I will leave this video with everything that I said. And guys, let me know your comments in the comment section down below. And I will see you tomorrow, hopefully, with the next makeup look. If you have any ideas before I start filming, if you see this video, please let me know your suggestions and ideas when it comes to this particular palette. Is there anything else you would like to see, even though I used so many colors today? Guys, thank you for hanging out today with me, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.